Welcome to JG's Fight Talk, and with me now, Ray Moylette. How you doing, Ray?
Joel, what's up, buddy? Good to hear from you. All
Nice,
good from me.
nice to have you on, mate.
Of course, yeah, anytime at all. Yeah, it's when people is looking to talk with me about boxing, then I'm always free.
Yeah, I've heard good things, mate. All good things.
Yeah, as I said, I don't believe them all. Definitely don't believe them all.
Well, it's all been nice so far, so I'm
Yeah.
taking it, mate. I'm taking it.
Okay, good. It's not usually the case now. It's usually I'm a slagger myself, and I'm a blackguard really, I suppose. But I get plenty back. So it's
Yeah,
all good.
I haven't spoke to Spike about you yet, so that could be the worst part, mate.
Yeah, but Spike has a condition. It's called lion syndrome. He doesn't speak a word of sense, and everything he says is a lies.
You
So
mean
that's the
he just
condition. But what I do is just humor him and pretend everything is grand, everything is good. Don't let on that you don't believe him.
he's just known as bullshitter, basically, is what you're trying to
Yeah,
say.
yeah, of course, yeah. But he knows it too. He knows it too.
So where did it all start for you, Ray? When did boxing come into your life?
Oh, yeah. I suppose I'm 30 gone now, and I walked into the boxing club in Westport in County Mayo, St. Anne's named the club when I was 6 years old. I went back with my brother Richard, or Ricardo, he likes to be called now. That he's a Spanish bride, and he's called himself Ricardo. But I was brought back. My father used to bring him back to the gym, and I was just brought along for the spin, maybe to get out of the house, whatever it was. But unknown to everyone else, I was picking up pieces along the way. By the time I got to 11 years of age, I had 5 or 6 years done in the boxing club, and I was way ahead of every kid at 11. So I had a head start right there. And I probably started winning early, and then there was a big hype about me, and then probably in my midlife crisis, you could say my early teens, I probably plateaued and thought I didn't need to train any longer, and then everyone caught up to me at that stage. So then, by the time I got into my late teens, I was back on track again and back winning. So it was an up and down journey, really. That's the first couple of years, really with everything. So yeah, I grew up in the boxing club, and I don't know anything different. That's where it is.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So where was there anyone in particular when you were growing up? Was there a particular fighter that you looked to or you really liked that sort of got you even more into boxing?
Not in particular, no. Like we come from a small farmstead in the west of Ireland. Big time boxing isn't a thing. People used to box. Nearly every young lad boxed at one stage, and then they played football. It was just part of growing up. But there was never any superstars, local superstars anyway. And then when there wasn't local superstars, the older generation didn't really push it on the younger crowd either. So it was up for myself to nearly find the way. Of course, Steve Collins is always an idol of mine. Who else? Mickey Ward is another idol. I used to love watching Prince Nassim fight. And then I was coming to the stage. I was in my early teens when the likes of Tyson was in and Lennox Lewis. But obviously they're not my weight or anything like that. But they're the names that would have stood out. And boxing wasn't really in our house because we didn't have Sky Television, so we only got maybe UTV or ITV. So Eubank and Steve Collins and stuff like that was big in our house.
Yeah, yeah. Well, what a fight that was, to be honest.
Oh,
One of the
unbelievable! Yeah,
best.
yeah, of course. Like you see the crowds of people that were just mauled in on top of each other down Mill Street and Porky Creek, like massive fights altogether. And like to look back at them now, that's what it's all about, really. Everyone knows where they were when Steve Collins bet Chris Eubank. The first time they're like milestones in people's lives. Even
Yeah,
though I was still pretty young, I don't even know what year it was, but I looking back at it now, I'm watching it.
yeah. Let's be honest though, Steve Collins, one tough bastard, wasn't he? He had
Oh,
an engine on him, didn't he? And there was nothing.
oh yeah,
If he wanted something, nothing stopped him.
yeah.
He was
Well, I
just
wasn't going to stop him. Definitely not. I wasn't going to stop him. But that he had more balls than brains, really, in the boxing round. Or there was better fighters than him out there, but when it came to tooth and nail, and when it came to the crunch, he was going to go. He was going with life or death, and he was going to take it on. Whereas other people were going to be yellow and they were going to take a step back. Whereas he was willing to lose it all in the ring or win it all in the ring, and thankfully he won it all in the ring. And I'm thankful now to be part of his stable. His brother Packy is my trainer. I'm up in the gym, and Steve Collins calls in, and some days hits the bag. Not obviously not now with lockdown and everything like that, but I'm training alongside this guy now, and his brother that has all the stories too. So like that's Irish history, and I'm part of that now.
Yeah, I bet that must have been an absolute honour when he walked in the first time, and you're kind of like, bleeding it, this is Steve
Yeah.
Collins. It's like it's a bit
So
overwhelming, isn't it?
it was nearly like I was probably not in shock, but I didn't really know what to do. Do you go over? I went over and said hello and stuff like that, but I didn't have an awful lot of stuff to talk about. But I remember, I think I was training. I was going to Boston for some fight, over with Murphy's Boxing, and I was training to make weight. So when I was making weight, obviously it was a day or two before I was going, so I was in great shape going over. And I remember training. I did a couple of rounds of pad work with Packy, and I took my top off then, just to finish it off because I was in good shape. A few days out from weighing, top order. I remember he came over to me and told me, he said, "Put that top back on." He said, "You're training for a fight now." He said, "You get cold, you get a flu, and you won't be able to fight." So what did I do? I put on my top again, and I fairly put my in my corner. But
Mate,
that was just advice. That was just him. It wasn't a show to him. This was business, and it made a lot of sense.
yeah. I've seen your pictures of when you're flashing with your top off and all the rest of it, mate. If you've got it, do it.
Yeah, but you know what? It's
I ain't
only a
got it.
handful. It's only a handful of days a year, and that's what it is. It's not. I'm not. Look at. I'm not. I'm no Ricky Hatton that goes up a couple of stone between fights, but I'm
Oh yeah,
no. I'm no Floyd Mayweather that's in shape all year round. So I'm seasonal, and definitely even with my training, I'm seasonal, and with my fight prep, I'm seasonal. So I enjoy myself out of camp, but I don't, not to any extremes, nothing like that. But I need notice for a fight just to get back on track, definitely. But you know, as I said, it's a handful of days a year that I get to do this. But if Steve Collins says you put your top back on, you put your top back on.
mate. I wouldn't argue with him.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah,
when you look at your amateur career that you were talking about, uh, European, worlds, getting your medals, what a moment.
yeah. Unbelievable. Like to this day, them look, the medals are in a press at home at my mum and dad's house. The medal itself is not what it's about, but the whole experience of going out there and fighting for your country and bringing home medals to, like, there was hundreds of people at the airport when I went over. So let's say in 2008 I won the World Youth Championships with the World Juniors at the time. I was 18. I was relatively unknown outside of our Irish boxing. Never heard of. Even, yeah, they would have known me around Ireland because I'm from winning national titles, and I was involved every year, so they would have known me. But in terms of winning international medals, it was unheard of. So when I went over a young, naive 18-year-old coming from the west of Ireland that didn't wasn't expecting too much. I said I wanted to go over and win one fight. How great would that be to win one fight at the World Championships? I could tell my grandkids about this. Ended up going over, and anyways, long story short, I won 5 fights in 7 days, beat a Cuban for the medal, and then I beat Daniyar Yaluzanov, the Kazakhstan Olympic champion, in the final. And I came back to a hero's welcome. There was massive crowds in the airport. I got a police escort through my town. That wasn't the first one, or maybe the last, but that was for a good reason this time. And there was just everyone just knew me after that. Even walking down the street, I could see people pointing. And ever since that, the stigma nearly attached to it now. And now, even when I walk down the street, people have forgotten about all that, but I still think nearly people are looking at me. So I would never walk down the street now and eat a bag of chips, whereas most of my friends would. If them, I know it's hard to maybe explain it, but I still feel like I have to live up to this world champion 12 years ago. That I'm not a world champion now, but I still feel people look at me that way. Maybe I look at myself that way, but I would never go back down the ranks with it. So, and then so that was 2008. In 2011, I went off and won the European senior title, in Turkey, and that was good. That was pretty good. I beat a Russian for the medal that time. So in 2008, I beat a Cuban for a medal, and in 2011, I beat a Russian for a medal, and I ended up beating Tom Stalker from England there in the final with that. But like that's the stuff of dreams, you know. That's what it's all about at the end of the day. And then I got put on top funding after winning my European title. So I was funded athlete then. I didn't have anything to worry about. I was getting paid to train what I was doing for my whole life anyway. So it
Yeah.
was a massive relief to be at that stage. Yeah,
Well, no, that's incredible, mate. And you turn around and you say, you know, oh, but I was a world champion back then. I won the European back then. But that's still that's a proud moment. You know, that's something to really hold and to celebrate. You know, the fact that I've got a guy that went out there on this channel and got his European and his world. There's not many
yeah.
people that can come on and say that.
And you know what? I probably don't appreciate them so good now because the whole mentality of a boxer is always about the next fight. It's always
Yeah,
about the next belt, the next medal, the next scalp, whatever you can get. So no matter how good you are, you're only as good as your next fight, or as good as your last fight, even too. But like people talk about this, like my mother and father are far more prouder, you could say, than me at the minute because I'm still currently chasing more, chasing other goals, and you know, still busy doing this. Whereas I know there's proudest bunch at home. They've this medal at home, you know, and they they like if Yanks come home or family comes home, they'll the mom and dad ask them to want to see the medal and stuff like that. Whereas I don't want to be showing, that's not me and that's not my kind
oh
of way.
no,
But they're proud of it, you know. Maybe I can see that now that I have my own son that I go like if he done something um out of this world. I'm not going to say, I don't know. It's hard to phrase it. Like if he won any medal, no matter what it was, I'd be very proud of him. I can see things from their point of view now where they couldn't before. I'd be
yeah,
saying, "Man, leave it, leave." I'd be telling them to forget about it, but I can see it now. So you're asking me, how do you feel about the medal? Like it's great to have them, and I love it, but I haven't looked into it yet, really, how maybe important it is or how good they are. Maybe when I've the feet up and retired and a pint of Guinness in the hand, I can say, yeah, that's good.
yeah. No, I
Yeah,
completely get what you mean. You know, I've got four kids. I see things the same way. You know, when you start having your own kids, you start to look at their achievements. You know, you've kind of ours are the you know what you've done, that's the foundation for you to build on. That's how you look at
yeah,
it, but
yeah,
your parents will always hold you in high esteem of your achievement because hey, that's what your parents do. They want to pick
yeah,
you up,
no,
they want
yeah,
to,
yeah.
it's their moment to be proud, isn't it? And
Mm.
yeah, I, you're going to be going on to titles next and all the rest of it, but
Oh, please God, please God, yeah.
before we get to all those, Belgium, the
Oh,
Irish
yeah,
invasion, as I call it, the
and
Irish invasion of Belgium.
it's my return to the ring after 2.5 years out. 2 years, what's that? 25 months out of the ring. Um, Yeah, I fought for a WBC international title back in 2018 December. We ended up losing a split decision there. That fight was actually my hometown, so it was probably the best boxing show in Ireland since the Bernard Dunn days. Now, that might mean an awful lot over on your side of the world, but Bernard Dunn days here were massive, and it's like the boom, the peak, the benchmark really. And boxing has been on a downhill. They didn't have the television rights. They didn't really have the exposure. And then my fight in 2018 was the biggest fight since then. So I thought I was back on track. I got bet in a split decision, and then mix up with management took a couple of months to sort out. Got all that done, and then I was heading for another title fight in Boston against Larry Fryers, the New England title, and my visa got pulled in Dublin Airport. So that took another 6 months to figure out. That was a full year gone. Okay, no bother. Kept the head down, kept training, stayed on track, and then last March, um, this rescheduled title fight with Larry Fires for the New England title. This was meant to be my way back to get on track, and we flew over on Tuesday. Trump declared national emergency on Wednesday, and I was on a flight home Friday night with the coronavirus. So, and now, 1 year on, nearly exactly to like a day or two in the difference, I'm back out to Belgium and back on track. So it's 2 years out of the ring, really through no fault of my own, but this is now, so this has been a long time coming. So I'm really looking forward to getting out there, getting fighting, getting the win, doing what I do best, and then moving on to the next stage. This is a sign of normality coming back to me. So this is an important step now in my career.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and you know, as I've been saying to the other lads that are going over with you, some of them are in similar situations to you, aren't they? You know, that they're all sort of. It's almost like reset, isn't it? Reset button and
Yeah.
going again. But you know, you got a good record, Ray. You know, it's you've got that background behind you, so you know, hopefully you can beat this guy. Do you know who you're boxing in Belgium?
Yeah, he's actually a Polish guy. He's so I did say I was out the ring 2 years and getting back on track. He has two losses and one win. He bet an Irish lad a few months ago on his debut, a world kickboxing champion. He bet him on his debut. So in terms of he doesn't have the pedigree, but looking at him, he's busy, he's strong, he's in your face, and he's constantly there. It'd be very hard to take him out of there. So there's a high chance I'm going to get six good rounds, and I won't need to go looking to this guy. He'll be right in front of me. So, you know what? It's exactly what I need to get the cobwebs off. And he's no dummy. This guy comes to fight and he comes to win, and that's what I want as well. I don't want to go over there and knock someone over after a round and then walk home and say, "Oh, that's all great," or "It's not all great." I need to be challenged, but I still need to be challenged that'll help me progress because there's far bigger things in the line for me. I have the potential to do it. So it's just about being careful here with management and with getting my stepping stones right. This is like a restart for me, as I said. So it's important that we treat it as that, and it's not a title fight at this moment in time. That I'll be ready for them when they come again.
Yeah, yeah. But it's almost like treating every fight as though it is one, isn't it? Just to get back in
And
that
and,
mindset.
and we have to like it's a lot of people down here. So everything is closed. We're in lockdown here, and thankfully I'm lucky that I can travel up and down to Dublin, and that I'm heading for Belgium and stuff like that. So the a lot of people say, "No, it's great to be getting out of the country, and it's great to see this," and like it's not. As in, I don't care. I'm going to Belgium. I don't care. I'm not going to see anything in Belgium, and I don't care. I'm not even like I have for other fights. I've wore leprechaun suits and this and that. Like really, playing up to the cameras, playing up to the media, playing. I don't care about any of this now. I just want to go over there, fight, win, and just come home, and then move to the next one. Yeah, it's not about that for me now. I don't care about seeing Belgium. I don't care about anything else that comes with it. I just want to go in and fight, get the win, and come home, and then put a new plan together. That's how serious I am about it. Whereas before, I'd be trying to milk every situation, different things, but now this is just strictly business. There's too much on the line now.
Yeah, yeah. And as you say, you've already had that time out of the ring. You know, you don't want
Yeah.
to waste any more. You want to just get in there and get the job done.
I'm like I'm no spring chicken. I'm boxing since I said 6 years old. I'm on the national high performance team, which is the Olympic squad since I was 18, training with the likes of Katie Taylor, Paddy Barnes, Michael Conlon. I was on their team for 8 years. We all trained together. So I was very competitive for the last 12 or 13 years in boxing. So maybe the year or two out might have helped me. The, so I finished in March and I had a child a couple of months later. It all sort of happened for me there. Um, so a little step back from boxing, got my life in order. Now I'm back into boxing again.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, sometimes it's needed, mate, isn't it? Sometimes that's
Sometimes
the
it's
way to
needed.
do
And
it.
now I'm hungry. Like as this is St. Patrick's weekend, um, and I'm not even going to wear a green. I'm not going to go in my leprechaun outfit, which I usually do at this time. But because I don't want that, and this is strictly business, and that's how it has to be, as we said.
Well, I think, Ray, with that mindset, I think, it's only going to be business on Saturday for you. And I
And please
really
God,
hope that.
things need to go well for you. But I just know this is it. I can't afford any more slip ups. I have 2 years out of the ring. I lost my last title fight. There's too many things that have went wrong already that I can't afford for anything else to go wrong. So,
Well,
but still I'm enjoying it. I enjoy the buzz, I enjoy back training, nearly enjoyed the pressure that the safety net is gone now. This is it. Here we go. As I said, I'm 30 years old now. There's not a massive length left in my career. Uh, Probably about another 10 years. So I can just, no. I'll be lucky maybe to get two, but I'm ready to put it all on the line. I'm going to go out my shield one way or another. They're going to say, "Wow, I can't believe he did all that," or they say, "You know what? I won't die wondering. I know exactly where I am when there's time to hang up the gloves. I'll be at the top or I'll be at the bottom, and I know I have nothing else to offer, and that's it."
exactly. And now you've got your little one as well. It's a different
Yeah,
driving
yeah.
force, isn't it? It changes your mindset as well on a different level.
Um, I'm sure it does. Now, I haven't let it come into my boxing at all because I think if that does start creeping into my boxing, I think it'll be a time to step back. I'm selfish here, very selfish, and that's how we have to be. So it has to be just about me. And as soon as I start bringing other people into it, I think then it's time to step away.
Yeah, yeah. No, I
Yeah,
understand that as well, mate.
yeah,
I
yeah.
understand.
And like, of course, there's obviously pros and cons to everything, but I can't be fighting for Kobe Ray. That's my son or whatever. But no, that's out the window. And as soon as he comes into my head in the ring, then it's time to step back. And I know that myself.
Yeah, yeah. Well, let's see how it goes Saturday.
Yes, yeah, yeah,
I'm going to be watching it. We're going to be watching
yeah.
it live in the house. So,
Lovely, lovely.
do you want to give it? Do you want to give it a plug while you're on it?
Yeah, so I'm fighting in Belgium on the 20th of March. It'll be live through Facebook stream. I think it's pay-per-view, so €9 or €10, which is £7 or whatever it is, give or take. And there's a bunch of Irish lads fighting: Niall Kennedy, Niall O'Connor, Reese Moore, Craig O'Brien, Eric Donovan, and a few more. So it's this is the an Irish invasion, as you called it at the start, and this is a there's a big future for us. This is the Celtic Warrior gym on tour, really, and there's big fights ahead for us all. So now's the time to tune in while you can.
Yeah. No, as I say, I'll be tuning in, mate, and we'll be cheering for you from the house. And
Lovely, yeah.
yeah, I wish you all the best, mate. I think good group of lads, and you're all going there to do the business. And
Of course, yeah.
I pray
And
you all
look,
do.
we all love it. We all love boxing. It's not. It can't strictly be business because we wouldn't do it. But this is a team. This is a chance now for the team. There's like 5 or 6 of us going together. Pascal Collins, our manager and trainer, is orchestrating it. Ken Casey in Boston and Murphy's Boxing. So like this is like there's 5 or 6 of us going together. We've never really all traveled together. We've never been. This is this is an occasion for us all. So we have to make the most of it too. I'm talking strictly business and everything, but this this still has to be enjoyed, and we still have to be able to look back at these days and say and tell stories and enjoy it. So it's part of everything. So it is strictly business, but you know what? Business at the end of the day is all right, but we won't be talking about business when we're having a cup of tea or a cup of coffee a couple of years down the line. We'll be saying, "Do you remember such a thing happened?" The
Yeah, yeah,
stories that go along with it. So yeah, it's important that we enjoy what we're doing.
I feel for one person before we go. I feel for one person on that
Yeah.
on the Friday, and that's Niall Kennedy because he's got to share a room with Spike.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's not good at all. So we stay in Dublin, myself, Spike and Raith Moore because we're the furthest away. It's not feasible or financially viable for us to be traveling up and down. So like I've stayed with Spike too many times. Once is too many times, and yeah, you're in for a long night because he doesn't speak a word of truth, and he'd take the milk out of your tea if he got a chance. So Guy Kennedy is, but he, in fairness, he'll have his wits about him and he'll know about Spike, all right. But yeah, I wouldn't trust Spike. No, I wouldn't trust him at all. Yeah,
Mate, you're not on your own. But on that
no,
note,
we're
I'll
all
say
on that.
thanks for coming on, Ray. I really appreciate it.
No, thank you very much, John, and thank you very much for having me on. It's great to chat with you. Yeah, delighted now, and I look forward to hopefully chatting with you soon again. So, as you said, this is a stepping stone for this, just to get my career back in order, and hopefully there's some big fights down the line. I'd love to be chatting with you again.
Oh, you're always welcome, mate. You'll have to give us a text when you're in Belgium. Let us know when you've landed safely.
Absolutely. Yes, please, God, all is good. Appreciate that, John. Thank you very much.
No problem. Love to the family.
Yeah.
Take care,
See
mate.
you. See you. Cheers, cheers.
Thank you.
No bother, John. Thank you.
Well,
No.
Ray Moylette, what a start. He's
Yeah.
going to Belgium. He's going to go and get the job done. And, you know, he's going to be there with his brothers as well. So let's wish him all the best for the future. And, yeah, can't wait to watch him on Saturday. As I say, you've been watching JG's Fight Talk, sponsored by Rich's Boxing. Yeah, cracking. Take care. Thank you.
Are you ready?